Hey everyone, why didn't Scar choose Nuka as his heir? That is an interesting question, but before we start, if you haven't already put a like on this video and are new, why not subscribe? I remember someone recommending that I break this topic down, but I can't remember who, and I can't find that comment on the channel. I may have made it up myself. I will go completely nuts soon with these theories, but if you asked me to expose this topic, please let me know in the comments. However, for what it's worth, it's a fascinating topic. So why did Scar choose Kawa over his possible son Nuku? You're probably thinking right now, but Kovu is Scar's son too. It's a fascinating topic where Kovu came from. I have a video about it on my channel, but I've got some new thoughts on it now, so I'll give them some more thought. For example, it could be that Scar ordered Zira to find Kovu and stole him from the other lions, or she adopted him and then chose him as the heir. I like the second version better because Kovu is not Scar's son, and I'll prove it to you later. You should oversee the cartoon in general. There is an obvious answer there, but now we are discussing another topic. So why didn't Scar choose Nuku? Well, as far as I'm concerned, there are several reasons. Scar felt at some point that he needed a queen, and then Zira appeared on the horizon. She was determined, loyal, and shared his views. And so probably during the second half of Scar's reign, their son Nuka was born, and as parents, they chose him as their heir. But something must have changed their minds. First of all, to be honest, Nuka was a noob, and even if he wasn't, he did his best to make me think he was. Yes, he was energetic and followed through, or at least tried to, but in doing so, he always came to a dead end. That's one of the reasons why Scar chose Kovu in particular. The second reason was that he was stronger than Nuki, and Scar didn't want Kovu to feel the way he felt when he was younger. We know that Scar had an older brother, Mufasa, whom his father loved more. The consequence of this is that Scar was not chosen to be king. Well, that's one theory. Another version is that Scar was younger than Mufasa, so the throne was closed to him. But there is also a third version. Mufasa Shram's father, Ahadi, loved his sons equally. Still, because Mufasa was older, he became the heir. Understandably, this hurt Shram, who turned his back on his father and brother and spent most of his time with his mother. But it all led him to rebel again. I got carried away as usual. The point is that Scar needed a stronger, more cunning, and cruel lion to be the heir, because he wanted that heir to be able to dethrone Simba. That is an heir who would learn Scar's political views and carry them out precisely as needed. Such an heir would not require supervision, so Nuka would not have been up to the task. Time passed, and apparently Nuka was not up to the task. Perhaps Shram felt the same way and made a relatively good choice. Don't get me wrong, I'm not biased towards Nuka. In fact, he's one of my favorite characters. He had a tough life because he wasn't the chosen one. He was scolded by his mother, and he died tragically trying to win the attention of his own family. Yeah, life isn't fair, and actually for me at the time, his death was a very touching moment. I'm not kidding, it's still a very moving moment. As I noticed, I'm in the habit of comparing different characters. If we talk about who I compare Nuku to, it would probably be Emperor Komat from Gladiator. Komat, too, had been neglected from childhood by his father, Marcus Aurelius. After his father died, Komat tried to prove to everyone that he was worth something and capable of more. So Nuka has something in common with Commodus. Those are the general reasons why Scar chose Kovu over Nuka. Although, if he had chosen Nuka, maybe Simba would have been defeated. Well, that's with the stipulation that if Zira had taught Nuka how to fight. In this case, Nuka would have been a real threat because he was ambitious and wanted to see it through. Although it's unknown how he would have behaved if he had met Kiara, he may have fallen in love too. And by the way, if you were wondering why Scar didn't choose Vitani after Nuki, he probably didn't want a lioness to be his heir. He needed someone to continue Scar's lineage, which had to be a lioness. After all, otherwise he could have appointed Zira as his heir. That's the end of it. I'd like you to share your thoughts on why Scar chose Kova. Or, for example, are Nuka and Vitani Scar's children? Or is it safe to say that Zira is their mother? Or for another thing, if Kovu is not Scar's son, where did he come from? I will try to give you sensible answers to these questions, but I am now waiting for your answers. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. You have a lot of videos ahead of you regarding the Cartoon Kingdom and many other Disney cartoons. Have a good day and see you soon.